the process is taken. So the processes from the initial stage to the end stage. So ethics should be followed. So when you talk about the telemedicine, we'll be dealing with the lot of patient data. So the patient have the rights. The patient should all the data should be kept in the confidential way. So many things are there. So the entire process has to be uh, uh, done with the proper following ethics. Okay, so when you have arise after some issues and all those things, it has to be taken care with the legal legally it has to be done process. Okay, so that's what we are going to see in the next two classes. So this I'm going to take in the aspect of ethical and legal aspects. So when you perform the telemedicine, so when you talk about the entire telemedicine process, so you'll be involving the patients as well as the doctors. So when you have the patients, so you'll be looking for the informations. When you involve the patients, you will be getting as a lot of the data will be collected, so that the information, all the medical records has to be kept confidential. Okay, so the confidentiality has to be maintained. So we need to have the rights. So the patient has some rights. Okay, so the patient will be giving the brief introduction about their rights. Okay, so as well as the consent. So consent to the treatment. So this consent to the treatment also, it's very very important. So starting from the OPD to the any surgery, if they perform any treatment, if they are giving, definitely consent will be taken from the patients as well as consent will be taken from the relatives. So the caretaker, we can say. So we need to have the entire medical information, so medical records has to be maintained then with the confidentiality. So how we are going to make the confidentiality, that is very very important. So all the records, say example, the patient is affected with the particular disease. So sometimes you should not the reveal to the society, entire society. You should have the confidentiality in the information. So unless otherwise it's needed, we not needed, we should not share. As a healthcare professionals, we should not share with that. So the confidentiality and the law is very very important. The patient doctor relationships has to be maintained very good level. Okay, so any patients coming for the treatment and all the things, so the definitely the concern will be taken. That's what I was saying. So the starting from the OPD to the surgery, so they will be taking the consent. The different consent forms are available. Similarly, we have for the telemedicine process, we have different consent forms. Okay, so when you are taking the different consent forms, you'll be taking the informations about the basic information about the patients. So sometimes the medical information you'll be taking. So everything they have to give in the consent form. Okay, so they will be giving us I'm willing to participate in this treatment. I'm willing to. I'm accepting for the further treatment. So they will be giving them in the consent form itself. So the risk associated also will be mentioned. So they will be giving the consent for that if any risk happens. So that's legally we are protecting the healthcare professionals as well as the entire organization. So that is very very important. That is the reason they're getting the consent. Similarly, the patient should be knowing about the treatment. Okay, so what the process they're going to do, what the process. Okay, so the patient have access to the medical records whenever they want to see. They should see. There is nobody can restrict them to access their medical records and all those things. Then that treatment. So they will be getting the treatment. So this is very very important when you talk about not only telemedicine. When you talk about any the process in the healthcare professionals. So the when you talk about the confidentiality and the law, so already I told you we need to we need to keep the entire information about the patients. So we need to keep. So that's what I was saying. The the patient is affected by the some disease. So we need to keep the confidentiality. So even the patient death, even after the patient death, we need to um, the information has to be kept in the confidential way. Okay, so this entire thing has to be maintained. Okay, so with that, sometimes it can be if it is needed, it can be taken with that, so that it can be we can disclose the informations. Sometimes if it is needed, it can be disclosed with that. That's what I was trying to say that. So so definitely for this also we have some guidelines. Okay, so they'll be following the guidelines. So basic rights already told you, right? So the patient has to give all the information, so all the medical information. So whatever the medical information as well as the patient information they're giving, we need to maintain the privacy. So it has to be kept in the confidential way. Okay. So we need to maintain the patient privacy also. So sometimes if it is needed, it can be it is required, we can waive in the meaningful way and other things. Okay, so this information, whatever informations you are collecting, so sometimes you will be asking the patients whether you are willing to give the information. So whatever the information they are disclosing will be limited to that info or portions. Okay, so whatever needed. Okay, sometimes the patients will not give the information, so that cannot be. So it's in the limited portions only we can take from them. Okay, so the patient doctor relationship is a very good relationship they should maintain, so that it can be easy to perform any teleservices. So the duty of confidence. Okay, so the duty of confidence will lies between the heart of the patients and the doctor. So they should have the very good rapport, we can say, so that the treatment can be given in the proper way. Okay, so there are the different guidelines are there uh, in the UK. So the UK medical guidelines, it's make no difference between the tele or face-to-face consultations. So the face-to-face consultation is the regular one, what everybody is looking. So the teleconsultations, it's a remote connectivity. But in the medical guidelines of UK, what they are saying, so there is no difference between the tele or face-to-face consultation. So that much the importance is given for the tele services. So the patient should not be comfortable. Patient should be comfortable with the tele services also. Okay. So similarly, whenever you are dealing with the data and the medical information and all those things, so the third party will be collecting all the information and other. So sometimes it will be the third party will not be aware of this confidence and the might betray and all those things. So sometimes the patients also will not give you the exact information to the doctor, so they will be hiding something. So they are very reluctant to discuss to the doctors with the specific problems and other things. So this also should be avoided. So if you are giving the entire information, then only the doctor can based on the history, the doctor can go for the further diagnosis and other things to give the treatments. Okay, so this is very very important when you talk about this. Then when you are taking the information on other things, you need to beware of the hackers. So definitely, so if the security level is very lenient or something, so definitely they can steal all the information. So they can use the signatures and all those things. They can have the kind of the duplicate bills and all those things. So that has to be taken. So all the medical information also they might be stealing from the database and all this. So we need to have the proper security levels so that nobody enters into the particular servers and all those things. So that's very very important when we talk about this. Okay. So for the all the images, sorry, all the data, whatever you are collecting, so it has to be collected with that, and it will be encrypted, and it can be used so that it can be maintained with the encryption codes and all this. So this is very very important when you talk about the medical information and all this. So the patients will be giving the consent. So when they are giving the consent, so all the information has to be disclosed. Okay, so the starting from the name, so they will be disclosing all the informations in the consent form. So they should know what must be disclosed. Okay, so what is the reason for disclosures also? That is very very important. So that's what I was saying. In the consent form is different consent forms are available. So they will be checking that. So they will be seeing that. So why we are giving this information to the doctor, okay, why we are giving this information to the organizations, like that they should know. Okay, so that's reason should be mentioned there. Okay, so sometimes, so they have the options to the withhold the informations anytime. So whatever the information they share, they can withhold. Okay, so not more than this period I'll be my information will be available to them, so they can withhold the information also. So whatever the informations they're giving, so that should not be given to the any the third parties. This is very very important. So the another important thing is whenever you are getting the consent form, so you need to get only the necessary information about the patients. Okay, so unnecessary information, there is no need. So say example, um, um, when you are going for the OPD to get the treatment, so they will be getting as a who is your the relative mobile number and all those things. So only the necessary information has to be get. So if any emergency situation, they will be calling the relatives like that. Okay, so whatever the people, the different people will be gathered to give the healthcare services. So all the people should maintain the confidence of the information. So that is very very important. So with this, if you understand, so the very very important thing is the consent. So all the information, so it will be taken. So we need to maintain the confidentiality. Okay, so the doctor also should explain and justify this situations, have situations to get the concerns and all those things. So all the informations whatever you are getting, it should be in the identifiable info. So we need to have the written consent. So definitely the written consent will be taken to have a kind of further research purpose and all those things if they are using. Say example, the diabetic clinic, the patient is visiting, so the patient will be taking all the time the glucose sugar level. So this data might be used for the research purpose. Okay, so how many patients are visited, so how many people are below this level, above this level, kind of research. Okay, so that can be taken. So for that, they should get the consent form from the patients to use their data for the research purpose. So the written consent has to be taken. So similarly, info can be disclosed without the consent of the patients. Sometimes the patient is in the very the serious conditions and all those things. So they have the serious problem. So so during that time, so without consent also, information can be handled closed. So that's very important. So based on the patient information, so we will be giving the data. So definitely the next thing is very important for access to the medical records. So the patient should have access all the time to see their medical records. So there is no kind of restrictions. You can deny the permissions to access their medical records. So the some organizations will create issues in this. Okay, so but it's not something. It's not a very good thing. So the patient have all the rights to see the medical records. Okay, so so they do they should not restrict from the hospital. Okay, so similarly, so sometimes I told some hospitals. So some hospitals, some organizations, they will be hiding the informations. Okay, so if they are saying to the patients, so the patient the health conditions will be in the kind of critical one and other things, then sometimes they can hide the information. So like that, the patient they will ensure that the hospital will ensure the patient safety and all those things. So the patient confidential the confident level will be patient will be losing the confident level to get the treatment. That time they will be hiding the information also. So that's if it is uh, it is if it is going to give the drawback in the treatment and other things. So similarly, so we have like both the hospital hand as well as the patient hand, all the information there knows. Okay, so when you are looking for the patient information, so they'll be taking all the informations. There is no need to make any formal applications to get all the informations from the to get their rights and others. So that is very important when you talk about the patient rights. Consent to treatment. Already I told you, so you will be getting us different consent forms and others. Things. So when you are getting the consent, so you will be getting consent for the two purpose. One is the clinical purpose, another one is the legal purpose. So because whenever you are making the consent form, so this two purpose is very important. So one is to be clinical based, so the patient cooperation for the entire treatment. So you'll be briefing them, so what all the things will be taken care and all this. So okay, so another important thing is legal way. If you are saying legal purpose, when why you are taking, so you need to make the healthcare professionals into the not to the not to fear to give the treatment and all those things. So without fear, they should give the treatment to the patients. If any unexpected things are happening, then it will be it should not be a problem to the healthcare professionals and all those things. The healthcare professional should be protected with the law, and everything it should be within the law. So with the law only it can be protected. So with the law, if you are protecting the healthcare professionals, so they can give the treatment without any fear. Okay. So the similarly, when you are giving the treatments and all those things, so sometimes we can uh, uh, avoiding the unnecessary the issues and all those things if you are getting the proper consent forms. So the guidelines is given. Okay, so if you're giving the treatment to the patients, so you'll be getting all the information. So you will be getting about the patient conditions, you will be giving what kind of treatment, so everything can be taken with that. So you'll be discussing with the patients. So similarly, we need to respect the patient rights also. Okay, so whenever they required, they can see their medical records and all that. Similarly, the concerns we have some problems. Okay, so if the patient is traveler or the patient is a soldier, so if they are crossed a border or something, if some other state or other country, if they're traveling like that, so if they don't know the language, okay, so the particular local language, then it will be the problem. Okay, so where is there, that is very important thing. Sometimes the doctor could not consult with the another doctor because of the communications link and all those things. So in case of due to the emergency and all those things, so that is also we are facing the problem. Okay, so another important thing is sometimes the patients will not be directly communicating to the doctor, so the doctor will be communicating to the relatives, then from the relatives they will be communicating to the patients. So this also um, uh, problem. Okay, so because the patients will be saying whatever the problem they are facing, then the doctor should diagnose and should analyze and should give the treatment. Okay, so that is also we need to understand. So there also we have problem if there any communication gap is there, so the doctor is not understanding the local language of the patients, so that will be problem. Okay, so the patient or should give the consent. Okay, so all the time, so there will be consent. So what is the purpose they are doing, that is also it's very important. So sometimes the patients after giving the consent and all those things, so sometimes in the middle of the treatment or some say example, patient is going for the CT or MRI, so in the middle of the thing, diagnosis. So the patient is refused for the treatment. So they don't want to take for the scanning purpose. So that is also will create the issues. Okay, so this all we need to understand. So that is the reason we are discussing today. So the solution. So for this consent, so we'll be getting as a beginning itself. So beginning itself, we will be getting as a consent for the any treatment. So we need to ensure that the doctor is legally entitled to start the treatment. Okay, so already I told you, right? So within with the law, so the healthcare professional has to be protected, so that we can make the safeguard to the healthcare professionals. So so that without fear they can give the treatment, so they save the patients. Okay, so sometimes can seek proxy concerns, as well as the patients sometimes can give the written statement of refusal also. So if they are not accepting that, so they will get the written statement of refusal and all those things. So similarly, we need to get all the information. Sometimes negligence, there is no issue of negligence, and so as sometimes we will be taking the reasonable actions towards that for the to take the concerns and other things. Okay, so we need to ensure that the healthcare professionals are legally protected, so that without fear they will be giving the treatment for them. Okay. So when you look for the and the informations whatever we are collecting, so we'll be keeping with us, so for the further analysis we'll be storing it. So when you're looking for the informations collected, so we need to have the secured way. Okay, so the data protection and the security. So we have like UK Data Protection Act, as well as the UK Computer Misuse Act. So whatever the informations you are collecting, so it can be taken from the hackers, or sometimes the, in the organization itself, some people can misuse the computer and take the all that data. So we need to protect that. So that is very very important, because all the information is about the patients as well. So it's not only about the patient information, it has the entire organization information also. So we need to use kind of the informations, how you are storing, so we can have kind of automatically processed informations. So about the patients and all those things, so we can have the different services, so all the informations can be taken. So or whatever the information we are collecting, so we can have kind of acknowledgement to that, so that this information everything is taken. So definitely when you look for the information, so you will be requires the kind of registrations of the individuals. So whatever the associated with the organizations, that people will be giving all the personal data users and data to the organizations and others. So this also has to be taken. So sometimes the Data Protection Act says that criminal penalties for acting beyond the registrations also can be implemented. Okay. So this is very one of the important things when you talk about the data. So whatever the data you are collecting, it should be processed in the meaningful way. So that means fairly it has to be processed and lawfully. So there is no deviations. From the processing of informations with law, it has to be maintained with that. Okay. So whatever the personal data you are collecting, so all the personal data will be taken. So one or more specified or lawful purpose, it will be kept in the confident. Okay. So whatever the patient information they are disclosing to the organizations, so it cannot be used or disclosed to the any other purpose and all those things for the it should be under the within the law should be used. Okay. So all the data whatever you are collecting, it should be in the accurate, up to date. So it's not something you will be collecting the you'll be giving the false information also. You need to have the up to date. So starting from the location, because this pandemic we know that. So we need to locate the patients. We need to trace the patients. Where is the locations, which village the particular patient is from the which street. So we need to isolate the street. So many things are there, right? So all the information should be in the up to date. So they should not give any false information. So that's very very important. So whatever the data you are collecting, so it should be not be held longer than the necessary. So that is also very very important. So there is no need to maintain longer than any necessary. Whatever the requirement level, you need to maintain. So we need to have all the security levels, of the data whatever you are collecting. So you can take that in this two ways. So authorized people, unauthorized people. So authorized people will be getting all the information based on their login credential and password credential. They will be allowed to access all the information. So okay. So unauthorized people will be prevented to access all the information. So okay, because sometimes what will happen is some alteration of the informations will takes place. So sometimes there will be all the relating the information will takes place on all this. So this all has to be avoided. So we need to take care of the things. So only authorized people are accessing the information. I'll give you the brief explanations. Who is the authorized person, unauthorized person to access the information in the later stage. So it's a very very important thing. You need to have the security measures. So the similarly UK Computer Misuse Act. So whether it's your system is works with the standalone or network systems, so we need to ensure the safety level. So when you are looking for the Misuse Act, so any unauthorized access to the computer materials will be taken to the further with the law. So they will be taken. So unauthorized access with the intent to facilitate the commission of further offences and all those things. So sometimes they will be modifying the computers materials and all those things to steal the information and all. So that is the reason we are saying the misuse of computers. So like adding some external components to get all the informations whatever you are storing and all those things. So this is very very important. So you need to understand. So the whatever the data you are taking, it should be maintained. So we have like a problem. So a lot of issues we are facing with the computers. So we need to have the local police with the local network authorities. So whatever the informations we are taking. So sometimes the organizations are reluctant to bring out the hacking and virus penetrations and all those things. So even whenever the investigations takes place, the concerned people, the police, very difficult to collect that data and all those things. Okay, so these are all the problems we are facing. So when you want to get the good practice, okay, so this all has to be corrected so that it will be easy to have the data in our hand. So we need to use the secure network access. So you can get with that. So through the secure network access, if you are giving, so all the informations will be transferred from the one location with the another locations uh, with the secured level. So okay, all the information system and secured level will be okay. So similarly, we'll be looking for them all the informations. It's in the hands of the secured authorized access authorized people. They will be giving us it. So through that they can also the login credentials can be given. Through that it will be taken. Okay. So when you talk about the secured network access, so we have all the informations we can say as a sensitivity level. Okay. So when you look for the informations when you are transferring, so that's what I was saying. So who is authorized people, who is unauthorized people, you need to know that the users you need to classify. Okay, so when the say example doctor is there, so the doctor can give the get the all the medical information about the patient. So if the some the technicians are there, so the technician, there's no need to give the authorizations to access the patient medical records. Okay, so the only the doctors can. So you need to look for the who is authorized person, who is so the similarly you need to look for the consequences of the breach of security. So sometimes technical issues may rise. So how it can be taken with that. Okay, so this all will be considered. So this has to be taken for the solutions. So, okay, so that we can ensure that it has a security level. So we can say that whatever the access you are given for the authorized people, so you can have the authentication control like a password. That's what I was saying. So access is available for only the authorized users. So you are going to categorize, you are going to classify that who is the authorized user. So the technician is not required any medical data about the patient. So only the doctor can see. So like that, you can have the filtering techniques. Okay, so that it will be you will be looking for the only the authorized users view the entire information. So, okay, so like that you can bring with that. So you can have the entire information in the safer side. Okay, they all the staffs whatever they are dealing they are exercising this the process teleservices, they should know their responsibility. Okay, so similarly, and they can get the information in the confidential way and all those things. Okay, any threat is there to the security, so it should be reported appropriately, so immediate actions can be taken with so that it can be secured all the information. So we can have the communications using the intranet, so that others will not steal your information. So we can avoid the access through the external internet access, firewalls, block illegal traffic, and all those. So we can have the very efficient network based firewalls. So this can be taken with that. So these are all the corrective measures we can have. So we can have in the applications level, they can create the firewalls and all those things. So we can monitor the incoming as well as outgoing. So when you have this, definitely you'll be you'll be protected all the informations with your organization, within your organizations. Nobody can. So now how this when you are logging into the email or something, immediately the OTP is sent. So when you are making the bank transactions and all those things, OTP one time password is set. So you are ensuring that the kind of security level. So only the authorized people are accessing like that. I'm saying okay like that. Here, when you want to have the secure network access, you need to have the firewalls and all those things with the unauthorized users. Okay, so 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 ethics is very very important. So how